So,
man, that sounds like some really incredible work. So we spoke about your customers, competitors. Y'all being a newer company, I'm assuming there are bigger players in this space.
No, we're first to market.
What?
And so that's another thing.
Bro, no. No. Y'all don't realize how crazy of an opportunity he has or what he's doing right now with this company. Can you please explain to people what first to market means? Because that's because not only is he you go explain it. I'm tripping. Welcome to another episode of Tech is the New Black, your source for discovering experts in the technology space that are giving exclusive secrets and information, all meant to help you break into this industry, scale in tech, and maybe even start your own billion-dollar tech company. Y'all have a really great guest today that I'm super excited to interview. He is doing a role in tech that I'm gonna be really honest. I love being a sales engineer, but low key, product is probably my favorite. It's probably like my favorite thing in tech. Now, I've never worked in product, so maybe it just grass looks greener on the other side. Nevertheless, the product space is really fire. So of course, not only do I have not only is my guest in product, but my guest is actually a senior level in the product space. So I'm super excited to interview him. You know, as always, we got to put some respect on the guest's name by reading off their bio. So I'm going to go ahead and read it off for y'all so y'all know who we're talking to. So Jamie is a husband and father of 3 with years of experience in the mortgage space. He transitioned from originating home loans to working and building out digital products for mortgage lenders in need. Jamie, thank you for being a guest on Tech is the New Black.
No problem. I'm glad to be here for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Man, thank you so much, man. Thank you for your patience because I know you was reaching out and I was like, man. And I was like, dude, like when you reached out, I was, this would be super perfect. This definitely work out. And then I didn't think we were going to be able to have you this go around. Then ended up working out to where we were. So I was like, man, thank you so much, dude, for being flexible.
No problem. Problem.
But I guess in product, to some degree, you have to be flexible.
No, for sure. That's kind of the name of the game. You know, nothing always goes according to plan. So you got to kind of be flexible. That's
super real. So let's jump straight into it. So you are a senior level product manager.
Yes.
What is a product manager? What does that look like?
Yeah, that's the big question. I think product management looks different at different companies. If you're looking at a FANG company, it just looks different in different companies. So I'm at
a what company? What's a FANG company?
FANG, if you like Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Google, Microsoft, companies like that, product management looks a lot different. But I'm at a small startup, mid-sized startup. So product management at my company is a generalist. You kind of do it all. So you kind of help with some sales, you help with some user experience, you help with some development, you do a lot of product management, project management, you kind of do it all. But in just the bread and butter of it all, you try to help represent the customer, the user, in the development space. And so you have to be the voice of the client as best as possible. You don't always have a CSM rep or a salesperson in our development room, so we don't always have that perspective. So my job is to kind of be that voice of the customer at times, and try to do the best that I can, at least. Not only be the voice of the customer, but be the voice of the business at the same time. We happen to be in the mortgage tech space, and I've spent most of my career in the mortgage industry. And so this tech is kind of like very close to my heart. What we do is very close to my heart, and I know how it works and how it should work. Okay. So that kind of gives me another perspective to make me a good product manager, because I not only have that mortgage background, but the user background as well.
Okay, cool. So you have a mortgage background.
Yes.
But so how long have you been in the product space?
Yep. So I've been in product probably a year and a half now.
Okay, cool.
So I worked my about 10 years in the mortgage space.
Okay.
I kind of did everything in mortgage, from processing to underwriting. More recently, I was like a VP of operations for like the largest like black home lender in the country. Dope experience, but I think from that experience, I learned a lot of things. And one thing that I did learn is that the mortgage process can be a lot easier and a lot smoother for people. And one way that we do that is through tech and how we kind of serve our clients and users. And then I found a startup that was kind of building some dope tech that was going to make this mortgage process a lot easier. So I hopped on board and jumped in.
So how exactly did you discover or find this startup? Because I mean, it sounds like a perfect marriage. Because one, you product to your extensive background in the mortgage space. Like, how did you find? Because one of the things that I see all the time, like people hit me up. They're like, Cyrus, I'm in healthcare. Cyrus, I'm a teacher. How do I find something in tech that's specific to this thing that I already have an affinity for or have experience in?
Yeah, I think a lot of people that watch your show and follow you are trying to transition in tech.
Yeah.
And I think they look for different ways to jump in, and I think they sometimes plan to jump in and not know anything.
Yeah.
But they might be missing out on a golden opportunity. Is that they already have if they have a career, they likely have domain expertise in an area or so.
Okay.
And so if you've been working in healthcare for 10 years and you want to transition to tech, maybe you don't go look at Google. Maybe you go work for a healthcare tech company. If you work in fitness tech. You work in construction, go work for a construction tech company. And that's what I did. I knew that I wanted to kind of work in product, work in some type of technology space. I knew my background was in mortgage. So I leveraged my domain expertise as a mortgage professional and found that company. Luckily for me, I had a lot of great relationships. I didn't burn any bridges when I worked, and I maintained my relationship. I really value all my professional relationships, because you never know when another door might open.
You never know.
And luckily, this startup, a lot of the people I knew from my first mortgage company worked at this startup.
Wow.
And so from my first job, ended up being a lot of the same person that was like my manager and stuff like that. So it was it was like it kind of full circle.
Yeah, man, that's really good. Yeah, it's so important not to burn bridges. Yeah, because of things like that, especially in this space. One of the things I've learned is that in the tech space in general, it's a very small space. Even though it's huge, this tech is bigger than people that aren't in tech realize. Because when people hit me up, they're like, well, how many companies are hiring for tech? I'm like, there are literally tens of thousands of either tech companies or tens of thousands of openings for a specific role that you're looking to do in tech. But even though this space is massively huge, it's also all connected. So everyone knows someone that knows you.
Yep.
And especially after you've been in tech just for a year, everyone knows someone who knows you. So it'll behoove you to make sure that you're moving with a certain level of character and a certain level of integrity. So how did you get into product management?
Yeah, so when I first transitioned over, they really wanted me on board not to be their product manager, just because I had a lot of underwriting background. And so what an underwriting is in the mortgage space is somebody who reviews all the documentation and kind of signs off a loan, said, hey, you're approved to buy this house or refinance. And so they really kind of pulled me in just for that expertise. Say, hey, come over here, be an underwriting consultant. Tell us how to teach this computer, this AI machine, how to think like a mortgage underwriter. So that's what they brought me over, more of a consultant, kind of, help the developers kind of build out the technology type thing. But once I got in there, I was like, all right, yeah, I like this. Like, I can do this. And then so I started kind of doing more research about tech in general and kind of like, where do I fit in this big picture? Because, I can tell you guys, like, how to code this product. Like, I don't know the coding language, but I know what you're supposed to, like, build. Like, so I'm going to tell you guys how to build it, but I think I can be more of a visionary and help plan out the future of this company type thing. So I started just having larger scale conversations with folks and told them, like, look, this is what I'm doing now. This is what I want to do in a couple months. So I'm going to start preparing on the sideline to do this role as you guys build up and kind of prepare a table for me type thing. But I'm going to do this, but I'm going to master this. I'll master this first, but then I'm going to jump over here. And then the opportunity presented it. We went through a couple of chief product officers, and then we had some other changes in leadership. Other people got promoted, so naturally I kind of just elevated a little bit. So it was definitely a blessing, but I grinded. I'm not gonna lie about it. I didn't just come in and do my job. I came in, went above and beyond, and tried to do somebody else's job too. And eventually got the job that I wanted for sure.
Man, that's so good. I know people, one of the things people are fearful of is that they think, well, if I'm doing all this extra work, maybe it'll go unnoticed, or maybe like no one will really care. That wasn't like a fear or a thought of yours at all?
No, because I think it's also the environment. So I'm not at a big tech company, so I'm at a startup.
Yeah.
So I'm a generalist. So everybody
people
does,
see you.
and I can touch a lot more things. And I think when you touch a lot of things, your impact can be seen a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so we got to a point where, and not only was I able to touch a little thing, and I knew a little bit. I'm not going to act like I didn't know a little bit. I knew a little bit, but
A little bit in terms of what?
So what separated me from, let's say, some of the other people in my position was the fact that I went in and did some studying on the technology, and I learned the software a little bit.
Yeah.
So not only did I come in with that domain expertise, I kind of did a little background, like knowledge, and learn some other skills to make it so that I can do more than just my job type thing. And I think that really was a game changer for sure.
Yeah, I love it. So just to kind of go through the checklist real quick. So one thing is that you made sure to find a company that you had like skill set in already. So it's like, okay, this is it's a tech company, but it's a mortgage tech company.
Yep.
So I have extensive background in mortgage. So that was one thing. Second thing was, or this thing to mention is, okay, make sure that when I'm going into this company that I'm not just trying to just do my job, but that I'm going above and beyond.
Yeah.
But
I don't think when I got there, I didn't have the mindset that I was going to go above and beyond.
Yeah.
I think when I got there, I just saw the
opportunity. Yes.
And I was like, yeah, I'm about to milk this.
Yeah,
like,
but that takes me to the third point is you going to a smaller tech company, because probably the number one thing that I see is that when people are telling me, yeah, I finished a boot camp, or I finished some course, or I finished college, whatever it is, I'm trying to get in tech. Everyone wants to shoot to the big tech companies, which I'm always like, man, why are y'all doing that? And so people oftentimes are overlooking the opportunity at these smaller companies. And I've known, okay, the opportunities that are there that you can grow with the companies, but I never really thought about the aspect of, because the company is smaller, there's much more visibility.
Yep.
So as you're killing it, so yeah, if you're at a larger company and you're killing it, you're going above and beyond, like not only is there more competition within that larger company because there are other people competing for that next slot that's about to open up, but also there's much less visibility. Fewer people see you, fewer people know you. The only people that know you are the direct team that you work with. And so I love that you sharing how you being at a smaller company, there was significantly more visibility.
And also because you're at a smaller company, you're a journalist, you touch more things. You get experience in those areas, and you can have a different conversation when you start to plan out your career. So at a smaller company, I deal with the CSM team on a regular basis. So I hear customer complaints. I deal with the developers on a daily basis. I know what their pain points and roadblocks are. I deal with compliance. I deal with the testing, QA teams and things like that. And so it also gave me an opportunity to say, hey, what actually do I really want to do? And so because I work at this small tech company, because I touch all these different things, I decided I wanted to do product. But I could have very well said, hey, I want to do QA, or I want to go into the CSM route. But I was able to figure that out because I'm on a smaller company, and I touch all those areas, and I found the right one for me. At a Google or Facebook, nothing against them, but when you get into those companies, and this is my outside, what I see from the outside, you kind of stay in your lane type thing. You're hired for a particular job, and you don't really get involved in other people's jobs so much. Whereas a smaller company, you can try to do everybody's job.
Yeah, because when you first listed what you do in product management, my mind was like, I was like, how is he doing all of that stuff? Because everyone that I know that's in product, but they're at like larger companies, they're just doing their role.
Yep.
And so I know at first glance to people, it can sound scary, because even in my ears, it's like, oh man, you're doing all of these jobs, but you're just a product manager. But it's like at the same time though, that gives you further experience within the company and the business. So that way, again, now you're a greater resource to where you can get promoted faster. Yeah. But two, it also gives you incredible value in terms of, okay, now if you want to even do something outside of your company, like now you have experience in these other roles.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And though I might be touching a lot of different areas, I think the the main point of being a product manager is just very simple. It's like, look, I want to make sure our team is building the best product for our users that users need and that they value.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means I have to be a QA tester one day. That means I have to be a CSM one day, or I need to be in the development room all day one day. And so at the end of the day, product management, like I said, looks different everywhere. Just at my company, in order to ensure that the team is building the right product that the users want and need, I need to kind of touch all areas.
Yeah, no, that's good. That makes sense. And in reality, that will make the best product manager, because a product manager, in some way, shape, or form, they're working with the manual QA team to get feedback on the product that's been put out. They're working with the developers who are actually coding and creating the technology. And oftentimes they're working with the CSM. Like they're working with these teams to hear, okay, what's the customer feedback? They're working with maybe tech sales or sales engineers and being like, okay, well, what features are customers asking for and demand next? So it only makes sense that, okay, instead of playing the game of telephone, actually putting my hands on it and actually getting my hands dirty and doing this myself.
They call product managers like the baby CEO sometimes, and that's like a for real thing they call them. I don't own the company. I'm not a CEO, so it's definitely not that. But because they have to take ownership of the product at times and just be involved, so they definitely are called baby CEOs.
Yeah, I mean the product is just a shrunk down version from the entire company, because the company in and of itself is just a mashup of multiple products. And so I could see like a product manager, especially just being over against one suite of product or a suite of products within a company. I like that, like the baby CEO. That's really funny. So touching on, okay, so you're the product manager. What product or technology within your company? No, actually, let's backtrack. Let's pull back. You're a senior product manager.
Yeah, so I'm the only product manager.
They didn't hire you on as that, because I know you were doing. So wait, you're the only product manager?
Yeah, I am the product manager at my company.
Wow. How old is your company?
We're about 3 years old.
Oh, so it's really okay.
We do have a chief product officer now, though.
Okay, cool.
So we do, or SVP of product, and that's my direct supervisor.
Bro, I know you know this already. I mean, you work at the company, but in my head, I'm like, man, that's such a huge opportunity. That's significantly bigger, I think, than even working at a FANG company, because it's like, as your company grows, it's like
it's a lot. It's like
even new people that come on, it's like you will be the most like senior person, and so you're such a valuable resource to your company. They would not want to lose you because you know more than the vast majority of people that are going to come on.
It's very strategic. Like, I didn't have this like mindset when I first joined the company. I didn't know everything that was going to happen, but at this point, and the way that our company is structured, like it's definitely a setup. It's a lot. Like, I'm going to do great. So long as I do my job well and continue to master the product and continue to be the voice of the clients and be personable and have healthy relationships, we're going to be solid. And we're going to, keep doing great work, and I'm going to continue to grow. Like, I planned it out. I talked to my supervisor. He's aware of what my goals are. So we try to do our best to kind of stay aligned. But I want to see the company be successful, because I know if they're successful, I'm going to be
exactly.
So
man, that's good. So to what I was about to ask. So what product? Well, I guess it's everything that's there, because it's a newer company, it's a younger company. So for those that don't understand, with and if anything that I miss or anything you want to piggyback on, feel free to. But for those who don't understand how things work, whenever a tech company starts, so think of Instagram. Let's think of Instagram, for instance. We all know when Instagram first started, what was it? It was just pictures. It was just pictures. You could double tap. I think maybe you could comment. Maybe you could probably comment at the time. That was it. It was double tapping, commenting. There were no DMs. There were no stories. There was no going live. There was no. There wasn't much you could do. And so imagine when Instagram started, that was it. That was their only feature, or maybe their only product. So they might have just had one product manager or one senior product manager, but then realized when Instagram added stories, and when Instagram eventually added being able to go live, and when they added things like the DMs, and then they eventually add Reels, and they add all of these other things that we see, as the company grows, they get different product managers to kind of oversee those products.
Yep.
And maybe there's one or two or three senior product managers that are overseeing like all of the suite of these different products to make sure they're turning out well. And of course, we can get into the weeds of the manual QA people having to test out the features and test out the products, all of that. But at the end of the day, as it grows, the person who was there earliest, like let's say Instagram kept their same original product manager who was there at the start. He will most likely have knowledge, or she will most likely have knowledge of all of the host and suite of products that are being built out and all of the features that we see on Instagram. That person's level of knowledge, experience, understanding of the product of the company is so valuable that it's like their time has truly been invested into the company to where that company would value them in a huge way. So I'm just thinking about that with you at the company. I'm like, man, that's a sweet deal.
Yeah, it is. I'm excited. I'm not gonna lie. Excited not only for the opportunity and the position I'm in, but also just kind of for like the mortgage industry and what role our product plays within the mortgage industry and the kind of the future of it. Mortgage industry is kind of tough right now, and people are getting laid off. Doing loans is a lot harder right now, but our product is helping to kind of streamline the process and make it easier for people. So not only am I excited about the position I have with the company, just kind of our company's kind of growth trajectory as well.
So let's talk about the product. So what is the product?
So the product is it's kind of hard to explain. So I'm gonna explain it like you don't know anything about home lending or anything like that.
Okay, you talking to me. You talking to me.
So most people, like I said, they go through this process. Hey, I want to buy a house or I want to refinance my house. They submit a loan application. A loan officer calls them, collects documents from them, sends it to a processor, sends it to an underwriter. They may come back, ask for some more documentation. Eventually, you could jump through all these hoops, and you say, "Oh, you're approved for this loan. You can buy this house, or you can get this cash out, do this refinance." The process is long. I think on average, the process takes about 45 days from start to finish, and that's if you got your documentation together.
Man,
and most folks that look like us, I don't want to be stereotypical, but in my experience, a lot of people don't have their documentation together. They can't go get it readily, like fast or anything like that. So the process can be longer than 45 days.
Sheesh.
And so that's where we jump in. We want to streamline this process and make it a better experience for everyone involved. We want to make it a better experience for the borrower, the better experience for the loan officer, for the processor, underwriter, and all those good things. So
because I'm thinking even 45 days is, because I'm sure many people go into it just thinking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this and do that, and it's gonna be maybe a week or 2 weeks, but 45 days, and then that's if you got your ducks in a row.
Yep, exactly. So our job is, look, we have a software that we plug into people's system where they can kind of get underwrite done on their loan in less than in 90 seconds. And just to show you the impact of that, being an underwriter, it would take me about 60 minutes to 2 hours to underwrite a single file. And now we're telling people you can press a button and have it done in 90 seconds. Wow. And so in the state of the mortgage industry, so I remember like at the height of like the pandemic, we were in like a refi boom. Mortgage applications through the roof. Everybody's trying to get in a house or refinance, get some cash out. And so you had like, I'm gonna call it like waiting periods to have your file underwritten. It was like a 2-week waiting period. So it would take you 2 weeks before your loan got to somebody's desk for them to do that 2-hour review. So now we're saying you don't have to wait 2 weeks for somebody to review your file for 2 hours. You can now have that done in 90 seconds.
That is crazy. And
so it's a game changer for sure. And that's why I said I'm excited not only for the company, but the industry as a whole.
That's
because,
huge.
There's a lot of people who start this mortgage process and get turned off by how long it takes. So with my last company, and my last company was a great company, and they're doing a lot of amazing work, but sometimes people had bad experiences, and it's not because we wanted to do a bad job or we were doing a bad job. It's just the mortgage process can be difficult and long at times. A lot of documentation, a lot of personal information that a lot of people don't want to share. And so we're now making that process easier for people.
Significantly easier. Like that's a understatement to say it's been made easier.
So
that's incredible. So cut down, depending on what's going on, cut down, first and foremost, like even the fastest version of the process, it'll cut down an hour worth of work to 90 seconds.
Yep.
And then, of course, in some instances, it could take longer than that hour. It could...
If it was a human doing it, yeah. If I had a self-employed borrower with 5 businesses and you said they own 20 properties, it may take me like 8 hours, 10 hours to do that loan. But now I can push a button, still have that same loan done in 90 seconds. So it's not about the complexity of the file anymore. We're not dependent on humans. We've taught a computer to do what humans do.
Yeah.
So that's dope. So us taking the time, the underwrite time, cutting that down to 90 seconds, that's just one part of it, which is a significant part of it. And I think from a user perspective, from a borrower, like when I did my home loan, it's like, hey, if I can get to underwriting a lot faster, then great, better experience for me. But we also are able, because of how fast we can move, we are now a resource that you can put in the hands of loan officers. And so
that's what I was wondering. I was like, okay, so is this something that just a regular everyday person would just go to your company and use it?
Yeah.
And I was thinking like it has to be something else where your maybe your customers or your prospects might not be a person that's looking to get a home loan, but might be someone that works with clientele that are looking to get loans.
And so maybe I should have started with this. So we are a B2B business.
Yeah, okay.
So our clients are mortgage companies, mortgage lenders, and then their clients are the actual borrowers. Yeah. But I think when we write our product, when we write our code, and we think about our features and what we want to do, we kind of have both things in mind. We have not only our clients of the mortgage companies and their loan officers, process, and underwriters, but we also have that end user of the actual client.
Their client or their customer.
Yep.
So the person looking to get the loan.
Yeah, so we try to keep them both in mind. So, but for the loan officer, like they now have a tool. They can just, again, press a button and they'll know exactly what documentation is needed on that file. And so they can quickly send that list over to their clients, and the clients can send it back. And depending on how they're set up, they might be able to upload it really quick, and we reread the documents.
So you're allowing your clients, you're allowing them to be significantly more competitive in their market from their competition, because now they're able to tell their customers or potential customers, hey, our competition is going to take you X amount of time, but with us, this process will be cut down 60 to 90 seconds instead.
We're shaving. I think I told you it takes about 45 days to get a loan through. I think most of our clients are getting them through in like 21 days now.
Wow.
And so that's less than 30 days.
That is significant.
Yeah. So it's a game changer for sure, especially in a competitive market like now where everyone has like higher interest rates. So how do you win this? How do you win the battle for business and things like that? And one way we're telling our clients is, hey, you can win by being faster than everyone else. Yeah. And you don't have to jeopardize quality. So most people's like, yo,
exactly. You go fast, you're gonna mess up quality.
And you're going faster without jeopardizing quality.
That's incredible.
So we're doing amazing work, and we're only getting better. Like we're working on a feature right now that I'm over. I'm so excited.
I low key want to ask you, but I'm not sure what all you can share.
Yeah, we just got our patent approved, so I think we're gonna be a little bit more vocal these days.
Okay, cool.
But our new feature is going after government loans. I'll put it like that. We're going after government loans and being able to better serve people in that area. So like if you're working, if you're getting some type of government loan, we'll be able to provide a similar type of service.
That's nice.
And so, but we are doing amazing work. So
man, that sounds like some really incredible work. So we spoke about your customers, competitors. Y'all being a newer company, I'm assuming there are bigger players in this space.
No, we're first to market.
What?
And so that's another thing.
Bro, no. No. Y'all don't realize how crazy of an opportunity he has or what he's doing right now with this company. Can you please explain to people what first to market means? Because that's because not only is he you go explain it. I'm tripping right now.
First to market means that I'm trying to think of an example that people would know. I was gonna say Facebook, there was MySpace.
There was MySpace.
And then was there anything before MySpace?
There was something else, but
Black Planet. But was Black Planet
Eric
first,
said Black Planet.
But was what first to market means, like no one has done what you've done yet.
Yeah.
And so you're the first person in the space to actually do this.
Yeah, you're creating that market. You're building. You're laying out the foundation of it. Right, I'm trying to think of a tech company or of a company that?
So, yeah, I don't know. So mine would have been MySpace.
This isn't perfect. I almost want to think like Apple creating the first smartphone, but that still didn't, because phones already existed.
Yeah, no, yeah, but iPhone was a game changer.
Yeah,
though.
or the iPad,
But
stuff like
iPhone
that.
was touchscreen though. First
Oh,
touchscreen.
it was, yeah.
And so
it
now
was a huge game changer.
Yeah, and so all phones are like touchscreen now.
Yeah.
And Apple was like the first like real competition. Like, yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, Apple's their touchscreen.
And that's why Apple
market.
to this day, that's one of the reasons why to this day they're the most valuable company in the world.
Yep, game changer, because
Yeah.
they're the first to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so we are the first company to do what we're doing.
That's
Now,
huge.
I think the company's about 3 years old. And I jumped in probably after year one.
Uber would probably be a good example. They were first to market.
They are first to market. So the first company that allowed you to download an app and order some type of service.
Yeah.
There was taxi cabs. So they built on something else.
Yeah. But they disrupted the market with something, and that's what y'all did and what y'all are doing.
And Uber's probably the perfect example too, because before Uber we just had taxis.
That's true.
Uber took it to a whole new level and disrupted all that. Taxi drivers were mad type thing.
Oh, pissed.
And we have a similar situation. So like within our industry, we are relying on other like underwriting type of software, which we leverage that same software. We just take it to a whole nother level. And so again, disrupting a marketplace for sure.
Yo, what's good, family? If you're tuning into this and you're wondering, yo, how do I get a job like that in tech? We've got good news for you, because we've just partnered with a tech boot camp called General Assembly that'll help you get a job like this or a variety of others, no matter where you live at in the world. We're talking product management, UX UI design, programming or development, data science, data analytics, and a variety of others. Use the link in our description, and not only will you be able to do your first class for free, but for those who decide to sign up with the program, you'll get a $200 discount off. Make sure that you let us know which course you chose and keep us posted on your journey in tech.
But lenders like us though. They love us. They swear by us type thing.
Yeah, because y'all are incredible.
We are. There are other players in the market now.
Yeah.
But they don't do what we do type thing.
Okay.
So it's like they maybe do like just a low level, and they because they're not our clients, they don't know all that we do type thing.
Yes.
And so they're only doing what they know to do. So we're they have a few years to catch up with us.
Do you, and I'm not sure if you know this or not at your company, but does your company does your company have sales engineers? I guess at this point, at this point, because it doesn't sound like the suite of features are so robust that you need a sales engineer, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so what we do, so we definitely have a hefty sales team.
Yeah.
So
and they're able to do a version of a demo.
Yep,
That's
they do demos and things like that.
Yeah.
So we do have a lot of salespeople. A lot of them kind of come from the same mortgage industry, or if they're not mortgage industry, like some type of like software as a service type industry. So yeah, we definitely have them out there doing demos and bringing more clients on and things like that.
So some people, most people don't know this because they think, okay, tech salespeople or salespeople at a tech company never demo. It's only the sales engineer's job. But what kind of like what he's touching on, or what we're talking about right now, is that most companies, especially newer companies, startups, as the company is growing, they usually will get their tech salespeople first. Before they would get a sales engineer. Like, you don't bring on a sales engineer until the product is starting to get very complicated and robust, to where, okay, now you need a person where their primary job is to be a product expert, but a product expert in a way that's meant to like demo the product. So it makes sense that like there aren't sales engineers yet. Before the product gets complex, other people are doing a version of a demo or a lighter version of a demo, like tech salespeople or even like people in product.
Yeah, so I want to say our salespeople, they may not call themselves sales engineers, and you may have to educate me on what exactly the difference is. But what our salespeople do is they're out there interfacing with mortgage companies and kind of setting up calls. Hey, I want to demo this product, but then they have to also kind of show all the product's functionality.
Yeah.
So they have to run like different loan scenarios. They have to, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then watch how the product reacts to it and things like that.
Yeah.
So they're going through what I would call robust demos, and they're showing them all the the features that we really like marketed to our clients and things like that, and get them on board. And then once they're on board, they have some contracts signed, then we transition them over to our CSM team to handle the onboarding process and just customer service.
Yeah, no, that's they're doing this. They are doing a sales engineer's job. They're just also doing they're doing their tech sales job too, because it's kind of like what you mentioned, like with the company being newer as it's growing, like there are people that are doing multiple roles. But this is a good thing because again, the sales reps at your company, as the company grows, eventually the company, you know, Lord willing, it continues to grow, and I believe it sounds great, but as the company grows, eventually as the product team is rolling out different features, the features will start to get, it'll start to be so many different features or it'll compound to where as the company is hiring on new sales reps, it's going to be like, okay, wow, it's going to take, you know, 6 to 9 months for this new sales rep to know their job and know how to demo this product. You know what? We need to now hire sales engineers. We need to split the role up now to where now there are people where their only job is to demo the product. And there's other people that are selling the product. And then, of course, come together on demo calls where the tech salesperson and the sales engineer be on a call. But right now, again, it's such a beautiful place that your company is at with great man, it's almost a perfect storm. Great timing, great product. It's a part of your background from what you're already in. Companies first to market. You know, you're senior at the company. It's God God's
good.
Really
good.
man. That's beautiful.
He has been good. So I'm not even gonna lie about it. I couldn't lie if I wanted to. Like I'm definitely blessed. And so I'm thankful.
I mean, but shouts out to you for, you know, for obviously working hard, for you having your eyes open and realizing the opportunity that's there in front of you, and you seizing the moment, like you taking advantage of that. I think that's incredibly good, because I think many people, again, so many people are just trying to get in this space, and many people would be at a startup not realizing the value of being at a startup. And two, many people will be upset that, oh man, I got to do this job and that job, or they don't have enough people. But it sounds like more so you weren't even just, okay, I have extra work to do. You were like, let me even take on other tasks and other things.
So I think what's different about tech, I think I was talking to someone earlier, is like, if you're a hustler, like you can make it in tech. Like if you know how to hustle, you know how to grind, you can make it. Like I made this like my second career transition. So I started off in education. I love
Were you a teacher? Or?
I worked like at colleges. Like I did like what we call student affairs and things like that. So, you know, I worked in admissions for a quick second, did some academic advising, worked in TRIO programs, helped for like first generation low income students. Like I was passionate about it. I was good at it. Like I knew my stuff. Loved it, but I wasn't making the money that I wanted to make. And so that was a struggle for me, because, you know, with jobs like that are like, let's say social work, education,
the income level, the pay is
the pay is not great. And then people go over and beyond in those type of roles, like teachers. You know, teachers work 12-hour days. Like it's crazy. I remember a couple years back, I went to this fundraiser for a teacher. They were like doing some type of protest, and they talked about how they're trying to increase the salaries to like $40,000. And this was like a few years back. It was like, y'all trying to get up to 40,000, and these are the people that work like 12 to 14-hour days and things like that. And so I say all that to say, like, look, there are some people who just grind at work. Teachers are a perfect example. They grind, they put in all the extra hours, but they don't get the extra work, the extra money on top of it. So I went from education to working in mortgage. And so it was like, and one of my main reasons for transition, it was like, look, I work harder, I get paid more money. And so I loved mortgage, and I still love mortgage to this day, but that's why I'm just still in mortgage. On the
still in mortgage tech.
You still get the money, but then like being in tech is like, all right, because I'm in a smaller company and I didn't come in just aiming to do the bare minimum, because I have this nature to go over and beyond, because I have this background in education, this going over and beyond in a small setting, like paid out, like, because I was a hustler, because I grinded, because I did all these things, it put me in a better position for sure. And so I one of my big things for anyone who has a hard work ethic, like working hard in the tech industry will pay off. You can't be lazy. Lazy, you're not going to survive very long. You could do the bare minimum, and I don't think doing the bare minimum is lazy per se.
Yeah.
But you could do the bare minimum, do your job, do it halfway decent, and keep your job. But if you grind and go over and beyond, you're not only going to do your job well, you're going to learn a lot, you're going to be given more opportunities, and you're gonna make a good life and career for yourself for sure.
That's good. So what is your plan as far as you can see?
Yeah. So my immediate plan is like if my wife becomes a billionaire, I'll be a stay-at-home husband.
I'm dead. I'm dead.
I'm gonna drop off the kids every day at school. And,
You'll be cooking and cleaning.
Right. So that's the real plan. So shout out to my wife. But I think long term, like I'm going to be in the mortgage space.
Yeah.
Long term, like that's.
Yeah, I mean, you gang up in there.
Yeah. I'm gonna stay there, and I like the technology side of the house.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Bro, such a beautiful merger.
Yeah.
I love it so much when there's a merger in tech with another industry that's a good income industry.
Yeah.
Because whether we're talking fintech or we're talking which is financial technology, or we're talking health tech or tech health, the healthcare industry is making good money than tech. It's like, man, the opportunities are just incredible.
And some people, I don't think they see the opportunity in front of them. They might look at their current jobs like, oh, how do I transition to tech? I was thinking about it like, if you work in the service industry and you're thinking like, I'm a waiter, or I work at McDonald's, I just ring people up and I was like, oh, I want to do tech, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. We just so happen to be in Atlanta, and I was driving on the freeway the way here. I passed this big building with these letters NCR on top of it.
Oh yeah, NCR, yeah.
Anybody knows what NCR is, but if you work in the service industry and you're looking to transition to tech, I would look up NCR. Reason being, because all your service industry, your McDonald's, I don't know if McDonald's uses them, but say Fridays, they use some type of touch screen to take orders.
Yeah.
You ring your credit card through a touch screen.
People don't realize all this stuff is tech.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as you've been a user of their technology. You've used their touch screens to take orders, to pay people, and all these great things. You probably have some type of advice for how they can make their product better.
Yes,
you probably
that's
know
true. Things that you're like, oh, this is stupid. Why is this? Why is that?
Exactly. And so those are part of like your interview process. Like a lot in product management is like, hey, tell us about a product that you don't like or you can make better type thing. I was like, oh, I've been working at McDonald's for 15 years and we have these touch screens that are not useful. They need to do this, and they'll have a better experience. Like, look, you're starting that conversation of transitioning to tech because you've used tech. You know how to make this tech better, to make it a better user experience for your not only service staff, but also the clients at the same time. So tech is all around us. You just use whatever industry you're in, look for the tech around you and say, hey, this is the tech that I'm using now. This is how we can make it better. What type of companies provide this type of technology, software, or something like that? And like, how do I make that transition?
So tech is all around us, and more often than not, people aren't realizing how like the world isn't becoming techie. The world is technology. Like we live in a technological world, and it's only becoming more of that. And of course, in my heart of hearts, I'm trying to educate people, show people more about what's happening in space. The whole purpose of tech is the new black. It's like a double, triple entendre where one, the term something being the new black comes from the fashion industry. It means, hey, this is the new style. This is the new color, the new thing that everyone should pay attention to. So the whole idea is, hey, tech is the new black. Like this is the industry that everyone should be paying attention to. Whether or not you want to be in tech, to some degree, you need to be aware of what's going on. But the other notion of this being the new black is also kind of in reference to in our community where we say like, oh, that's not black. Like, oh, you don't talk black, or oh, you don't dress black, or this isn't black. And they say, no, this is the new black. Like whatever you think black was, this is the new black. And this is really what it's about. And so with this being an industry and a space that I think like more people should know about, and you kind of gave some really good advice as to how people can find ways to see what would be like a good fit for them in the space. What do you think about, I guess, believers being in tech? Because one of the things we see with different believers are that they think everything is antichrist, or everything is like, oh man, what's that weird tech? What's this? What's meta? That's demonic. What's all these different things? And it's always the people that are, I hate to say it, but it's always the people that are not in this space and that are ignorant. They're completely ignorant. And so because of that, they make claims instead of them seeing the opportunity of how they can leverage this tech. I mean, shoot, let's dial it back. Let's not even talk about advanced technology. Let's just talk about how late many churches or ministries were to even social media. You know, let's talk about how late they were to using YouTube and leveraging all these other things. And now they're trying to catch up to this stuff. Yeah. But now we're entering into I forget what the term is, but it's basically like the third wave of the internet, where we're, you know, obviously Meta and other things, but now the internet is evolving. Another.
What is it, Web 3.0?
Yeah, Web 3.0. Thank you, Web 3.0. Where it's like we're entering the 3.0 phase, and now again, the people who either aren't in this space, they're looking at it and they're like, "What's this new stuff? It's demonic." But it's like everyone said that when it was 2.0. Everyone said that when the internet first was introduced. So I guess what are your thoughts, or what message would you have for people that are believers, or just are people who are like, what's all that stuff? I shouldn't mess with it.
Yeah, well, couple things. First off, if we're talking to believers. Church tech is a big space right now, and so if you've been in ministry for a while and you felt your ministry lacking, there's an opportunity for you guys to leverage technology and media and stuff like that to grow your ministry. I think how I came to know you had a lot to do with like church tech and ministry, and things like that. And so it's like there's an opportunity for believers out there to learn new things to advance the gospel. Yeah. We can leverage technology to advance the gospel a lot. So I wouldn't shy away from it just because it's a new thing and things like that. You know, God He inspired people to create things so that they can be used for His good. And there are going to be things that are going to be used for negative, and not everything is going to be all good and great. But, you know, you can leverage technology and things like that to still accomplish the will of God. Yes. So that's one thing. Another thing is I think Christ called us to not be of the world, which is a real thing. Like, you don't want to be of the world, but we're still placed in this world. Yes. And so I think Christ has also called believers to be in different spaces. We're not just going to be in the church walls 24/7, 365. We're going to be out at work on some days, in school some days, in the tech space some days. And so Christ needs us there just like He needs us anywhere else.
Because we're going to be in those spaces more than we're going to be in church walls.
Exactly. And so if somebody's going to be there in those spaces, and why not have a believer there? Yeah. Why not have somebody of strong character, strong morals, who understands empathy and things like that. Those are characteristics a lot of people in the tech space. You know, we talk about empathy. We talk about understanding users, understanding their experiences, and wanting to provide value and meet their needs. That's very Christ-like to me. Yeah. Being valuable to people and their needs. Like, tech space is it's not demonic. It's not something to run away from. It's something to learn. Yeah. To own and to dominate as much as possible. And if for no other reason, to advance the gospel of Jesus Christ. Yeah. It's a great opportunity that more believers should look into, for sure.
I think about Paul when I forget where he was at, but I think about the passage where he was preaching. He was in a place where people didn't know about Jesus, and there was a bunch of idol worship going on. And he was preaching Jesus, and the people there asked, they said, "Who is this God you talk about?" Right. And then the Bible says, like, Paul looked around, and in this place they had a bunch of different gods, and they had so many gods. They had a plaque where they didn't have a statue; it was just a plaque, and it said on that plaque it read for the forgotten God, because basically saying, like, that nation, they wanted to make sure they gave reference to every god. They didn't want to offend a god. So they made a plaque. They said, "Hey, if there are any gods we've forgotten about, we made this plaque so that way, as our way to, like, show love to you." And Paul, being wise, knowing their customs, knowing how they operated, he looked around, he saw that plaque and said, "I'm talking to you about the God that you haven't acknowledged, this God." And then he preached off of that. He used their own their own practices and their own customs as a springboard to preach about God.
Right.
And so I thought about that as you were talking, and it's like that's something that we need to realize that we can use these systems, these technology, whether we're working in tech or we're creating technology, we can use it as a way to bring love and ultimately bring Jesus to the world.
Right. Yeah, the world has changed. No longer do we have to depend on, people walking by foot from city to city to give the gospel message. You got social media and things like that. That's technology.
Yeah, it's all tech.
And so tech is a good thing. Tech can do a lot for our Christian faith, for sure. And so I stand behind it. I know within ministry, I know my area I always focused on is video production and audio. That's my space within ministry, and I'm all about making sure that the gospel message is clear and gets to as many people as possible.
That's lit,
and
man.
So I leverage technology to make that happen.
That's lit. I'm here for it, man. So so we got to wrap up, but want to make sure that first and foremost that you let the people know where they can find you, what social platforms they can find you. And man, please lead the people with a message that's on your heart to make sure whatever it is you wanted to convey on here that you get to convey it.
Yeah. So I am on Instagram, JokesNBA. Kind of been like off of it for like a year now, just focusing on myself, my family. Yeah. But Instagram, JokesNBA. I'm active on LinkedIn. So you just look up Jamie Jokes on LinkedIn, and I'm there. The message I would want to leave people. I know when I transition to tech. Or, some people like when you transition tech, you transition to money a little bit. I like to think I was making a decent dollar before I got here, but you make a solid wage in technology. And I think for a lot of Black people, it's like your first time getting into some real money. Yeah. And it's like you feel indebted to the people that hired you and things like that, and you don't feel worthy all the time. A lot of it's an imposter syndrome for sure. It's like you hear and you rubbing shoulders with a lot of people who are very smart as well, making a lot of money as well, and you start to doubt yourself a little bit. I think Maya Angelou and Albert Einstein dealt with the same exact thing. Yeah. They were very talented, very successful
crazy,
people,
and they still doubted themselves.
They dealt with this like imposter syndrome, and I feel like I've dealt with that at times. But I think if I had to leave people with a message, is that you're talented, you're definitely capable, and you belong in this space. Yeah. This is a space where anybody can jump in here and be successful. You will have your days that you doubt yourself and your abilities, but know that you're capable, and know that just not anybody is getting here. The talented will survive and be successful. So if you have a little bit of talent, that's like you have a little bit of faith, and you work hard, you will survive and you will be successful. Yeah. And so
I'm here for it. Yeah. And thank you so much for coming on, dude. Man, this is definitely a blessing for me. And thank all of y'all for tuning in to this episode of Tech is the New Black. Look, y'all, please let us know what it is that you enjoyed about this episode, what it is that you enjoyed from our guests, talking about product management, as well as working in tech also within the mortgage space. Let us know some of the insights that you have, things that you want to see us do differently next time, maybe even other guests you might want us to have on, or if you want us to bring our guests back. Aside from that, y'all, of course, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff, because as we know, we got to feed the algorithm. So that way you can make sure you're not missing anything else that we're dropping with any future guests. But to take it a step further, so that way you can be used to help spread the message. So literally just by you liking things helps give it more exposure to where it can be shared and help other people and educate other people about what's in this space. But aside from that, y'all be blessed. We'll see y'all in the next episode.